From 14 WFIE, this is Midday with Mike.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mike Blake, and welcome to Midday with Mike. As always, delighted to be with you, and as always, I hope this particular day is going your way. Want to tell you about a neat event. It's only the second annual. It's a rappelling event put on down at Centerpoint Energy, and it benefits a wonderful organization, Granted. It's like Make-A-Wish, only it's better, right? Two people are going to tell us all about it. They both rappelled in this wonderful event and raised a lot of dough last year. This is Jeff Perdue on my immediate left. Jeff is the chairman of this event. And also with him is Richard Leger. Richard is a senior vice president with Centerpoint Energy. Guys, welcome. Thank goodness for Centerpoint. Tell us, how did this thing come about and why?
Well, there's an organization out of Canada called Over the Edge that puts these events on all over the world for the past 15 years. They've been trying to find somebody who would do it in Evansville for like 10 years. And so I was asked if I could head up a committee to see if we could get a building to rappel down, because these are incredible fundraisers. We approached every tall building in Evansville, and understandably, they all said no. Right. We had one building left, and it was Centerpoint Energy. So we approached Richard and his compadre, Steve Greenlee, and they loved it. They fell in love with the Granted mission. They said yes, and thank goodness for them, because it's made an incredible impact to our organization.
You got to have, if you surround yourself with good partners in a project like this, you're going to do well, and they did well. Over $270,000 last year raised.
We raised over $270,000. It was 5 times the biggest fundraiser Granted had ever had before that.
Wow. Richard, we know you're of sound mind and sound physically. Was it what you expected? Was there any concern, any fears going into this?
Absolutely. I mean, just in full transparency, I'm actually afraid of heights. And so what I looked at it as is like, okay, if these kids can power through and get through what they're facing, then maybe I can use this as an opportunity to face my fears. And then I turned it into a fundraising opportunity by telling my friends, like, hey, you guys know that I'm afraid, so why don't you give me some dollars for this organization as an incentive to put me over the edge.
You didn't have to put a gun to anybody's head, did you?
No, sir. No, sir.
That's why it's a very giving community. How tall a building is Centerpoint, or how many floors did you?
Yes, sir. It's 9 floors, and so it is intimidating. It's one of those things where when you step over that edge and you look over at that river, you go, okay, this is real. This is real.
And again, you had over 100 rappellers last year.
We had 110 rappellers last year. Each rappeller has to raise $1,000. Raising the money is not hard because it's such a great cause. We help all the rappellers set up their own custom website link to help them with their fundraising. And this year we're hoping to get to 140 rappellers.
What did you both learn having rappelled that for the first time? What did you say, okay, this year I'm going to try to do this?
Oh, I don't know that I'm going to try to do anything different. I guess, well, let me say this. If I was to do one thing different, I think I'm going to enjoy the ride this time.
Yeah.
Last time I was focused on just getting to the ground floor.
And that's understandable. Have you rappelled before?
I rappelled dressed as Gene Simmons from KISS, along with 15 other people. The thing that I learned is don't slip and go upside down. So I stepped over, and I had my 6-inch Gene Simmons platform boots, and I actually went upside down. So you can go upside down and still survive this thing.
But you're not going to do it this year.
Oh, I'm doing it again.
Oh, yeah.
And dressing up as Gene again.
As Gene. Hey, yeah. KISS lives, right? Listen, don't go away, guys. When we come back, as Jeff mentioned, Granted, a wonderful organization. What's its mission, and where does this money go, so to speak? We'll find out, again, talking to Jeff Perdue and also to Richard Leger. He is with Centerpoint. Jeff, in his spare time, works for, he's an executive with Bowen Engineering. And you're watching Midday with Mike, and we're back right after this. It's the Over the Edge second annual rappelling event for Granted. Our guest, Jeff Perdue, he's the chairman of this event for the second year, and another veteran rappeller for one time, Richard Leger, who is with Centerpoint Energy. Guys, okay, Granted, what's the primary mission of Granted and how'd that come about?
Yeah, Granted is a really cool organization, actually founded in Evansville in 1985 by 2 people with 1 child who had terminal brain cancer, and they raised money for this wish. They were going to give the money to National Make-A-Wish, who had just started, but they discovered that National Make-A-Wish didn't provide any services after the wish. And they thought, well, these kids are still suffering, let's start our own nonprofit. So Granted's been around for almost 40 years. And basically we grant wishes to area children who are fighting terminal and life-threatening condition. But what's cool about it is we support these wish children and their families after the wish for life.
And some of them will be on hand that day?
We had 8 wish children rappel last year. We'll have
Wow.
more rappel this year.
My golly. Now, you two guys are Centerpoint's always in the forefront of being involved in the community. You need, thank goodness, Centerpoint and other corporate people to say, hey, we got to do this. It's a partnership, wasn't it? A true partnership.
It was a true partnership.
Did it surprise you in any way at how much Centerpoint said, hey, we're in?
Yeah. No, I'm not surprised at all because we've always been a big part of the community, but I can tell you our employees just absolutely love the event. We do a lot of events, but this was one that when we got to the end of it and it was a long day and we were rushing to clean up to beat some weather. And as we're in there, my guys come up to me and they're like, we're doing this again next year, right? They just absolutely loved it.
You could have 140, 150?
140 rappellers. We had 2 rope stations last year. We're hoping to add a 3rd rope station this year, which we could accommodate up to 140 to 150 rappellers. I think we already have like 70 or 80 committed. So yeah, we'd love to have people come up, sign up to rappel.
Do they, is there sometimes when whatever you do, you can maybe practice. Practice rappelling's got to be something different. Is there a chance to test what you're going to be doing?
No previous rappelling experience required. When you show up, we'll get you registered, we'll get you suited up in your harness, we'll give you a little practice. We'll have a tripod on the roof where they can kind of see what it feels like. But this is a completely safe event. It's ran by pros who are certified, and yeah, you'll have a blast.
I don't want to mention the word rain date. We're not going to need one.
We
right?
won't need. If it rains, we charge extra.
There you go. Okay, starts. What
8,
time?
8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Can you sign up on game day?
You can sign up on game day if you have $1,000. Absolutely, we'll accommodate you.
And then it runs from till 4 o'clock.
Till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. The cool thing too is a lot of these rappellers start their own rappelling teams, so they reach out to family, friends, coworkers, and that's really exciting to do with your family and friends.
Richard, give you one of the final words. Where exactly is Centerpoint for those watching from out of town?
Sure, we're right there on the river, right off of Riverside Drive, 211 Northwest Riverside.
Simple as that.
Yes, sir.
Now, kudos to both of you, to Centerpoint and to all the people, your superiors and to your coworkers. They jumped in with both feet. And Jeff, thank you, my friend.
Pleasure.
I'm sure there'll be a 3rd, but best of luck. The 29th, it's a Saturday, down at Centerpoint. 8 o'clock is the start of it, right?
Yes, sir.
Guys, best of luck, and thanks for raising some much needed funds.
It's an honor, Mike. Thank you.
You got it. It's an honor to have you both. And Midday with Mike continues right after this. We're coming right back. We're going to talk about the Golden Globes, which come up tonight.